What's going on, guys? I am Critter Hunter. Thank you so much for joining me again. Today I have a big YouTuber collab, and we are going to talk about some of the coolest dive sites in the Caribbean. So let's get going.
Critter Hunter.
Alright, so I have 5 of the coolest dive sites listed in this video that are in the Caribbean, and for each one of them, I have a different YouTuber scuba channel that is going to recommend each spot. So let's get started. For number 5, let's go to Curacao.
Number 5.
So for Curacao, it's the next one on my list, and since I haven't been there, I gotta call another expert, and I got Brian here, and he lives in Curacao. He's been there a lot of years, and I'm just gonna let him talk about why it's one of the best dive locations in the Caribbean. So go ahead.
Hey, thanks, Justin. Yeah, Curacao is awesome. The climate is incredibly stable, and it also is one of those destinations that you'll never have to worry about hurricanes or seasonal issues. So you can basically here 24-hour shore diving. Boat diving is certainly available in a large way as well. And one of the great things about Curacao is that it's one of those destinations that the diving is so incredibly diverse from the east point to the west point. The structures are completely different depending on where you're going. Shore access is generally within 50, 60 feet of the shoreline, so there's never a large swim. Currents are generally never an issue, and we've got the Superior Producer as an awesome top Caribbean wreck dive as well.
Oh, I've actually heard of that one. I forgot that it was in Curacao.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah, it's really quite accessible. It's in, the top of the superstructure sits at around 75 feet, or 72 feet to be exact. And the bottom of the wreck is sitting at 100 feet. So, it's available and easy access either from shore or by boat, as long as there's no cruise ships, because it happens to be right around the terminal.
Yeah. That's awesome. So is there some nice critters that I can find there when I go?
Yeah, absolutely. Curacao is one of those macro environments that is top rated. I think even Scuba Diver recognized it as one of the top macro diving locations in the Caribbean.
Oh, wow.
So, you have everything available, right from small nudibranchs to frogfish, seahorses, pretty much whatever your imagination can come up with. I'm sure we've got it.
Wow. That's incredible, man. Thank you so much for sharing. I didn't know a lot of this.
Hey, thanks for having me on. It's great.
Yeah.
Good luck with, love your channel.
Oh, thanks, man. I love yours too. And I can't wait to get to Curacao. I've been to Bonaire, Aruba, Trinidad, Venezuela, everywhere around there. So I think I'm missing.
Well, we hope to see you soon, brother.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. And I'll talk to you later.
Number 4.
Alright, that was awesome. So let's get right into it for number 4, Bonaire. So for this one, I think you guys all know Matthias Lebo from his own channel, where he has awesome underwater cinematography and tons of tips, right? Like, I'm learning so much on how to do stuff with my camera. So for this one, I asked him what his favorite dive location in the Caribbean is, and he told me Bonaire. Is that right?
That's right, yeah. Thank you very much for having me, Justin. Yeah, I've been to Bonaire twice already, and I've always loved going back there. For me, it's the dive location in the Caribbean for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's very quiet. I don't like dive locations that are very busy with a lot of divers in the water, so I prefer to have smaller, more quiet islands, and Bonaire definitely fits that criteria. All the dives are very easy accessible. You can just basically drop in from the shore into the dive sites. They're just a short swim from the shore and very, very easy diving as well.
So I've heard about one famous site called Salt Pier. Is that famous for a good reason?
It's famous because it has there's accumulation of a lot of fish right underneath that salt pier, and it's by the old salt mine that is located there. So it's a large pier that goes out into the bay, and you've got all those pillars, those wooden pillars going down into the water, and you get tons of fish just accumulating around those pillars and kind of hiding underneath that pier, and you get large schools of snappers and other species of fish that you can watch there, and it's really amazing and very simple and easy to dive again.
So I guess that was going to be my next question. There's plenty of critters for me to find when I go there and go searching.
There is, yeah. But the thing is, in my opinion, the Caribbean is probably not the very best place to find critters, but Bonaire definitely has some critters. You can definitely find some smaller stuff within the coral. The coral is very healthy, which obviously helps critters to live in there. I've seen quite a few seahorses, smaller like little crabs, cleaner shrimps, all that sort of stuff. You can find that quite a lot. There's a lot of flounders that are hiding in the sand. I always find them very interesting to watch with their a head on the side and both eyes on one side. I just like watching them. So yeah, there's plenty of stuff for you to find there, definitely.
Yeah, that's really good because really the Caribbean's not my favorite. That's why I'm based in Southeast Asia or Egypt, places like that. But when I go to, there's certain places that are really good in the Caribbean, so that's what this video is about. So thank you so much for telling us about your favorite dive location, and
you're very welcome. No worries.
I'm really enjoying your videos, and I'm gonna link your channel below. I'm sure everybody already knows you, but if they don't, they will now.
Thank you very much, mate. Likewise.
Thank you. See you.
Thanks you.
Number 3.
Number 3. Grand Caymans. And now for this one, I got James Blackman from the Divers Ready YouTube channel. I'm sure you all know him, but I got in contact with him so he can give me his recommendation for one of his favorite dive locations in the Caribbean. So how's it going, James?
Hey Justin, how are you?
Good.
Yeah, absolutely. My favorite dive destination in the Caribbean is the Cayman Islands. We were lucky enough to go out there and actually film some content for our channel, Divers Ready. Spent a week out there. I've got a lot of friends on the island that work for various dive centres. Let me tell you why it's my favourite place to go and dive in the Caribbean. The diving is fantastic. There's lots of places in the Caribbean that have fantastic diving. The life is good. It's more focused on reef and wall diving as opposed to sort of, the larger pelagic creatures. But really, it's about the ease of diving. When you get out there, it's island time. It's relaxed. Everything's on your own sort of schedule. But there's a good blend of shore diving and boat diving. So you can get out there and kind of take your time and do a shore dive at your leisure. If you're an early riser, you can get out and do a dawn patrol dive. If you want to sleep until 11 o'clock and get up and do a dive, you can. And everything's very convenient. And what the nice thing about most of the reef around the island is, it's so close into shore that it's very easy to do a lot of shore diving. The other nice thing about it is obviously that makes your money go further. Cayman Islands is one of the most expensive islands in the Caribbean, and to have that mix of being able to do boat diving and shore diving just stretches your dive dollars. Accommodation options, you've got everything from 5-star hotels to Airbnbs and everything in between. And all the dive centres there are very strictly regulated, so they're all high quality. Whichever dive centre you choose to go with, you're going to get good quality air fills, you're going to get first-rate rental equipment. It's all very, very strictly monitored and regulated, which I like from a consumer point of view.
Wow, that's cool. So when I think of Cayman Islands, I think of, because I've never been there, I think of cruise ships and those SCUBA helmet things. So you're telling me there's dive sites for actual divers that are interesting?
Absolutely. And you're right, there is a major cruise terminal in Georgetown in Grand Cayman, and there are dive operators set up that only deal with the cruise ship traffic. But getting out of Georgetown and getting either to the east end of the island or West Bay, as they call it, which is the southwest corner of the island, Lighthouse Point area. You've got quality dive operators catering to vacation divers, people that go there to dive the Kittiwake, the wreck of the Kittiwake, which is pretty iconic, all the reef gardens that you've got on top of the shelf, and then obviously the wall diving, which goes almost right the way around the island, and the North Wall as well. And it's village life in the Caribbean as it used to be. It's incredibly quiet. The roads are very quiet, and the nice thing about it, the nice thing about the diving there really is that it's really relaxed and it's on your own pace, and you don't see those crowds. I mean, that's pretty much. I know what you're talking about when you talk about like the cruise ship traffic, but it's very much contained just to the town of the island. You get out of the town and it's idyllic and peaceful. It's beautiful.
Wow, so I've actually heard of the Kittiwake, and I forgot that it was in the Cayman Islands. That's a pretty famous wreck, actually.
Yeah, it is, and they fought really hard to get that wreck down there. It's actually the only United States military vessel sank on purpose outside of U.S. waters.
Wow.
So if you think about all the U.S. wrecks, all the famous U.S. shipwrecks where they've decommissioned a battleship or they've decommissioned a Coast Guard ship and sank them, the Kittiwake is the only U.S. ship that was actually sank outside of U.S. waters intentionally in the whole world. And they had to fight really hard with Washington to get the legislation right, to get it prepared right, because you also need to be prepared according to the Cayman Islands' strict environmental standards. And they've prepped her really nice for diving. She's an absolutely iconic dive.
Wow. All right, well, I'm sold. I guess I'm going to have to head there, too. I shouldn't make these videos. They just make my list longer and longer.
Let me know when you're going. I'll be happy to come with you.
Oh, good. We're going to do an awesome video there.
I can't wait.
All right, thank you so much. I'm going to link your channel below. Everybody's already following you anyway, but just in case there's some straggler out there and they can find you.
Appreciate that, Justin. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks. See you.
Bye.
Number 2.
For number 2, we go to my really good friend, Nick, from goatsontheroad.com, who's going to talk about his favorite place in the world, Grenada.
Hey Justin, I can definitely recommend Grenada as a diving destination because it has some incredible shipwreck dives. The Bianca Sea, I believe, is the largest shipwreck in all the Caribbean, and she's a beautiful wreck lying at about 30 to 40 meters, and you swim down and there's often eagle rays swimming around there, massive schools of fish, and it's right next to a reef as well, so after you're done diving around like the shipwreck, you can just swim over to the reef, and there's a beautiful shelf reef there. It's actually more of like a slow incline slope reef, and you can swim along that. And also Grenada just has a lot of beautiful marine life. There's quite a few spots, like there's gardens of coral, really colorful coral. Also there's a lot of different diverse types of fish on the island and around the island. And it's not just Grenada, the main island. You can also dive off of Curacao and off of Petite Martinique, the other 2 islands that are in the island archipelago that makes up Grenada as a country. And I just can't recommend it enough. I go with Dive Grenada every time I go there. Phil and his team, his crew are just amazing. Phil and Helen, they own the shop. They're from the UK, but they hire all local Grenadians, and the crew there is just incredible. They treat you with like 5-star patty service. Every time you go out, they get your gear all kitted up for you and they do everything for you. It's incredible. So yeah, highly recommended to head to Grenada. It's a quick flight from Miami. There's direct flights from Miami, from Toronto, and from the UK you stop over in St. Lucia and then go down to Grenada. So it's not difficult to get to, and it's just a really cool island both above and below the surface of the sea. And yeah, if you go there, definitely check out Dive Grenada. Go on Grandance Beach. There's a few dive shops along the beach there. And also just one of the most beautiful white sand Caribbean beaches, and there's never very many people on the beach. So yeah, the island of Grenada and the diving there, highly recommended. And I've dove there for, I don't know, over 4 years now, and I'm still finding new spots and finding, new fish and new species that I haven't seen yet. So for critter hunters, definitely got to go to Grenada. All right, take it away.
Number 1.
All right, and for number 1, I am going to do it myself because I love some diving in the Caribbean. Not all is created the same, but one of my favorite places to go is Belize. Belize has a huge barrier reef and a lot of different kinds of diving. My favorite is in the south, where there's a lot fewer people, a lot less crowded, and during whale shark season, you're going to see tons of whale sharks. I also did a lot of reef diving as well as spear fishing for lionfish. That was awesome. So then that was in the south, maybe near Placencia and that area, and there's not a lot of options. I think there was a dive center called Splash Belize. There's a really good one. It'll take you out. It'll even take you to the Blue Hole, which is pretty far from there. But then you can go to the north. You can actually stay in Belize City if you really want. It's not really like a vacation go-to spot, but you could be there if you're just wanting to dive all of Belize. And from there, it's probably the shortest route to get to the Blue Hole. I was a little bit disappointed in the Blue Hole just because it's so famous. And there's not a lot to see. You got to look out for dodgy dive operators that will take you to the stalagmites, which are actually about 50 meters deep. And I was a little disappointed in dive centers for doing that because there's a lot of new divers and stuff that definitely never been that deep. They're not even certified to go 40, and they're at 50 something, and you know. So I wouldn't compare it to the Blue Hole in Egypt, but it's still an awesome dive. And if you're lucky, there's sharks around. A little bit north of that, you have the islands. You can go to Cape Cocker and all that, and there's Shark Ray Alley. Shark Ray Alley is not really diving; it's more snorkeling because it's too shallow. But you're gonna see tons of nurse sharks and little rays, so that was awesome. As well as Hol Chan Marine Park, which is diving, and it's incredible. It's a really cool little spot. So there you have it. Belize is an awesome spot. And if there's any explorers out there, when I was there last time, I was actually talking to some people about exploring some of the cenotes in Belize, because there's a lot of the same cenotes that are in the Yucatan in Mexico, but they're unexplored. They have cenotes that nobody's been in. There's some that a few people have been in, but haven't really explored. So I would really love to get back down there and check them out. So if you guys have dove some cenotes in Belize, let me know. I would love to know that story. So there you have it, guys. Those are 5 of our favorite scuba destinations around the Caribbean. I know there's tons more. There's Bahamas, there's Honduras, there's Costa Rica, Panama. There's 1,000 other places, but these are the favorites of some of the scuba YouTubers out there. So you know they gotta be good. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.
Yeah!
Subscribe!